Hi, Karen Curry Parker here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. To set the tone for this week and to give you a nice toolbox full of strategies to manage the energy this week, we have to start first and talk about a couple of important concepts. The first important concept that we're going to talk about is inspiration and why inspiration is so important, and most importantly, how to follow inspiration, because we have a tendency to believe, and we've been deeply conditioned and trained to think that if we get inspiration, if we have an idea, boom, then we have to be the ones that go out and make it happen. And if we don't take care of that inspiration and make it come into form right away, then we'll miss the boat and somebody else will take our idea and we'll get scooped, as we say in journalism, and you'll lose the invitation that the universe gave you by sharing this inspiration with you. The real result of that kind of following of inspiration is actually a little bit of just burnout and insanity, because we can spend a lot of time chasing all kinds of ideas and inspirations that we get constantly, and many of you are getting ideas and inspirations in a pressurized way just by virtue of your hardwiring. In fact, 7/8 of you are probably experiencing constant pressure to try to figure out how to make all your ideas come true. The thing about inspiration is this: inspiration has a powerful and important function. It causes us to engage our imagination, our possibility thinking, in ways that allow us to stimulate excitement, enthusiasm, hope, possibility, and potential around concepts and ideas. That stimulation, or that emotional stimulation that happens as a result of inspiration, actually tunes your heart resonance field, which is a powerful magnetic force that then draws into your life opportunities and experiences that match your emotional energy. That's really kind of the secret in a very, very short way of how the law of attraction works. You get an idea, you have an inspiration, you get excited about daydreaming and entertaining that idea. It stimulates all kinds of excitement and enthusiasm and all these great, yummy, juicy feelings. Those juicy feelings carry emotional frequency or vibration of energy that then tunes the heart center. And then the heart center reaches what we call resonance. It expands its magnetic capacity and it vibrates in a juicy, enlivening, and actually longevity inducing kind of a way. And then we draw into our life experience things that match that frequency of energy. There's a lot of physiology and a lot of beautiful mechanics around that, and I teach a lot about that in my quantum alignment program. So stay tuned if you're curious about that. I'll show you how you can actually use your inspiration and your imagination to stimulate specific emotional responses, to create heart resonance, to increase your capacity to attract into your life things that are much more in alignment with the love worthiness of who you truly are. Okay, that's the first concept we're going to talk about today. So your inspiration is not about pressure for you to go out and make it happen. It's about using that inspiration to stimulate a frequency of energy. That's important. The second thing we have to talk about is mastery. And what does it mean to be masterful? Mastery is all about doing something over and over and over again, and each time you do it, you work on correcting the expression of it or the pattern of it so that whatever it is that you're doing can get better and better and better. My 8-year-old plays the violin. So every day we have violin practice. Some days it's more fun than others because we have recitals coming up, and right now we're not in a fun phase, all right? But for her to get to that place where she experiences the joy of playing the violin, she has to have a certain level of mastery. It's not fun when she's squeaking on all the strings, right? It's fun when she masters a piece, when she's practiced it enough to where it's in her neurobiology, it's in the energy and cells of her fingers and her memory, and she can play with the flow and experience the joy of this music that she's making. I'm telling you this because to become masterful at anything in the world, you not only have to practice, you also have to correct your patterns. If my daughter mistakenly keeps hitting the same note over and over again while she's trying to learn a song, and that happens, sometimes your brain starts to make a pattern that isn't as effective as some of your other patterns. It wrecks the beauty of the piece, okay? And when she goes back to violin lessons for the week, her teacher has to help her relearn how to play the piece correctly, realign her practicing with the correct pattern so that joy can be expressed. Why am I telling you this? Because this week the sun is transiting in the gate 18, the gate of correction. The earth is transiting in the 17, the gate of opinions. These two energies are vastly misunderstood energies in the human archetypal experience. So in the blueprint of what it means to be human, we are actually designed to be critical and to have opinions, two things that we don't like to experience usually, especially at the hands of other people, because they are energies, first and foremost, that are designed to be given when asked for. Let's repeat that because it's so important. And it's going to be something we're going to all be subject to this week. It's going to be very easy this week for you to be sharing your corrections and your opinions, or to be on the receiving end of somebody else's corrections and opinions. And if this is an energy that gets engaged into without agreement, it doesn't always land well. So one of the things that I want you to think about this week is when people start sharing their insights with you this week, go, okay, hey, this is the celestial weather. I don't have to take this personally. And if I can transcend the fact that I'm being given a correction without asking for it, if I can move past my emotional knee-jerk response to it, if I listen carefully, I might actually receive something that could be a benefit to me, that could actually help me realign the patterns of my existence so that I can experience more joy in my life, which is ultimately the purpose of correction. We are naturally able to fix our patterns, to realign our patterns, to move us towards a deeper expression of mastery. And part and parcel with mastery comes joy. Joy and mastery are all tangled up in the blueprint of what it means to be human. And when we become masterful, we also achieve or create or experience more joy. So we are looking this week at our patterns. On a personal level, we're looking at what patterns do we have that work, what patterns do we have that don't work, how do we need to shift those patterns so that we can experience more mastery, more joy, and how can we do that and receive that from others without it having our essence, our unique contribution to the world, our vulnerable creative selves feel criticized and judged. Criticism feels like, or correction can feel like criticism and judgment, and it's not. It's just realigning the pattern. So I invite you this week to shift into a different definition of correction so that you really can see that it's a blessing. Sometimes people are giving us blessings when they criticize us, even though we don't always get it. So soften your perspective. Don't get too locked into being right, and listen attentively and don't react, because very few people use this energy correctly. The second thing is opinions. The other thing we don't like so much, right? Opinions are just possibilities. So you are being invited into, with your mind, processing different inspirations and looking at the possibilities of those inspirations. Don't let those possibilities lock you into a fixed thought form. And certainly, given the juicier, intense kind of energies that we've been experiencing lately, be really, really careful of the possibilities that you're sharing with other people. Everything that comes from this part of your body or this part of your energy field, from the neck up, is only a possibility and not fact and not truth. We don't know what's true and what's factual until we actually live it below the neck. We gotta do this planet. We don't think this planet. We gotta do life, don't think life. So the stuff that sometimes spews out of our mouths or that spews out of other people's mouths, these are all about stimulating possibilities and potentials. Take it that way. And certainly don't get too locked into fixed ways of thinking about things. So the mantra for this week is A, transcend your own personal reaction. B, listen and listen carefully. What is the person telling you, what they're telling you, really trying to say? And then C, embrace it all with gratitude, because you might actually get a juicy tidbit that could help you become more masterful and actually achieve and experience greater joy. Bottom line, don't take it personally. Love each other. Stay in the inspiration. Inspiration makes us do things. Fear and defensiveness doesn't. So stay inspired. Keep taking deep breaths. Have a great week.